Hello Internet, if you found us, you found the NerdChat Comics channel. I am Josh from NerdChat.
I'm Rick. And with Spider-Man Homecoming coming out in about a week or so, we figured this month would be a good time to talk about some Spider-Man topics, and we're going to go ahead and start with Spider-Man's top 10 moments.
We're going to be doing some other videos throughout the month, so if you want to subscribe to us, make sure you get those. They're going to be Spider-Man themed, so please do that. Otherwise, we will get started in our top 10.
Alright, starting off with number 10, the Clone Saga. This event took up years of Spider-Man stories and confused everyone who read it, but it introduced us to Ben Reilly, Kane, and the Jackal as important characters in the Spider-Man mythos, and it showed us how evil Norman Osborn really was.
Coming in at number 9, Spider Island. After everyone turns into giant spiders, the one person who can save the city is Spider-Man, but not with his brawn, with his brain. And with thousands of tiny little Octobots, he cures the entire city. After years of being trashed in the papers and for being an apparent menace, the Empire State Building changes their lights to red and blue as a way for the city to say thank you for all he's done.
At number 8, we have the death of Ultimate Spider-Man. After his death at the hands of the Green Goblin, his sacrifice showed the world what it truly means to be a hero. This also set up a legacy for Miles Morales to take over when he donned the mantle of Spider-Man, something that nobody, even fans, saw coming.
At number 7, we have Spider-Man and Venom team up to take down Carnage when Carnage first appears. What makes this moment so important is it shows Peter's willingness to trust one of his greatest enemies, especially at the time, even though the danger to himself is so great. His spider sense doesn't work against Venom, so if Venom were to betray him, he would not know, but he decided that Carnage was too great a threat to take down on his own, so he trusted one of his greatest foes in order to achieve a greater good.
Number 6, his unmasking in Civil War. After so many years of keeping his identity a secret, Peter revealed who he really was to the world in an attempt to get more superheroes to accept the Superhero Registration Act. He did what he thought was right to respect the law and endangered his loved ones and his family in the process, which is why he kept his identity hidden so well for so long.
At number 5, we have Spider-Man pushing past his limits. So in a very super comic book moment, Aunt May needs a blood transfusion. Peter gives her his blood. His radioactive blood ends up making her sick. He goes to Kirk Connors, who makes Aunt May a serum that should cure her. Doc Ock steals it. Spider-Man goes to Doc Ock's underwater base in order to get it back. Like I said, super comic book. During the battle with Doc Ock, his base starts to flood with water and starts to collapse. A bunch of steel falls on top of Spider-Man, and it's too much for him to lift. Thinking of his loved ones and how important he is to them and that he cannot fail here, he pushes past his limits in order to push the steel off of him. Pushing his strength to a new limit, he's able to free himself from the steel, gets out of the base, and cures Aunt May.
At number 4, we have a more modern moment. We have Spider-Man versus MAGIK and Colossus in the Avengers vs. X-Men storyline. This fight shows his immense will and bravery against impossible odds, taking on 2 Phoenix Force-powered mutants. He stayed in that fight, knowing full well that he had very little chance of survival. But he managed to talk his way out, as he always does, and got MAGIK and Colossus to take each other out.
At number 3, we have the symbiote suit. No, not that symbiote suit. The one in the comics changed Spider-Man's look completely for years. Took us from a bright red and bright blue that we're used to seeing into a darker, much stealthier looking costume. After he finally got this suit off, it ended up becoming one of his greatest villains as Venom. And Venom would continue to be a major character that would return many, many times throughout the years.
At number 2, we have the death of Gwen Stacy. After the Green Goblin tossed Gwen off of a bridge, Spider-Man attempted to save his love. Unfortunately, when he snagged her with his webbing, her neck snapped. This taught Spider-Man how to be much more careful with his webbing and reinforced the idea of how much danger the people close to him were in. Gwen's death also brought about the end of the Silver Age of comics, leading to an age of much darker stories that had never been seen before.
Lastly, at number 1, we have the marriage of Aunt May to Dr. Octopus. So, obviously, it's the death of Uncle Ben. This is a momentous origin story. One of the most iconic that have ever been seen. Spider-Man's failure to act on a robber led to the death of his own uncle. Because he didn't do anything to stop this man. He went and ended up trying to rob Uncle Ben and killed him in the process. Spider-Man had to then realize he needed to use his powers to do good. And he took Uncle Ben's words to heart of, with great power comes great responsibility. And before you go down to the comments and try to tell me that the great responsibility line is just a yellow box text that's at the end of the comic, it was not said by Uncle Ben, it was retconned later to be said by Uncle Ben. Don't you try to go down there and prove that you know more than I do, because you don't. I'm the one that makes this channel. I'm the one that knows about comic books.
God damn it.
And I know more than you.
I almost had it.
Well, we hope that you enjoyed those top 10s. Those are our opinion on what we thought were Spider-Man's most monumentous 10 moments.
Yeah, pretty important moments. It took us a while to figure some of them out.
But if you like more videos like that, you can check out a video right here.
Or you can watch this one.
But if you want more videos like this in general and you want to see other Spider-Man videos, make sure you press the subscribe button along the bottom. We hope that you come back. Thank you. Bye.